Today, on Another Note.
When I look at the Momo character, it's very ugly.
It puts us in a very dangerous zone. It's really, really dangerous.
I think it's dangerous when parents don't monitor what your children are watching. The internet is very dangerous.
We're going to be talking about how you like your man.
Like, I could do it like I'm ordering a cheeseburger. Like,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
yes, I know. I feel like I'm jumping on the same old bandwagon with hair loss. In the Caribbean population, at least, you must know a friend or a family who suffer with fibroids.
Welcome back to On Another Note. We are not your average talk show. That's why you're watching. Today, we've got a special guest with us, Laurel Freeman. Thank you. Yeah. Welcome. Woo! So we're going to talk a little bit about what Laurel does on her daytime job. And then we're going to get into, we're in the month of March, and you're going to talk a little bit about why March is so special to you. I noticed she's wearing blue, so we'll talk about that as well. But before we get to that, ladies, how was your week?
It was good, I would say.
Yeah. I'm still hoarse.
It was long. It was a long week. Yeah, I think we've all had a really long week. So yeah, so it's good to be on the set and to get ready to talk to our viewing audience. So I'm not sure how many. We all have kids. Miss Laura, do you have kids? I have Okay, 2 children. you have 2 children. Yes. So we all have children on the set, and one of the things that is very disturbing. Have you heard about the Momo challenge?
Yes, we have.
Yes, I've heard about it.
have.
So this Momo challenge, for those who are watching, is a weird-looking face that pops up in the middle of videos that kids are watching. And what happens is this Momo character asks children to do things that are suicidal, to do things that hurt themselves, and it asks them to keep secrets that are really disturbing and can injure and harm these children. So we'll talk a little bit about that, because so far we've had one reported child who's died. We know for a fact there's a child who's also in critical condition, and there are multiple reports of children who have injured themselves. What do we think about this? We have children. I mean, I have a 12, I have a 13, 11, and a 7-year-old.
Indeed. And Mike, to me, I'm going to speak from a perspective of the physician of these kids. So I have a pet peeve. When a child client comes to me, I find that maybe, let's say 80 to 90% of them, they come in focused on their mom's phone or their iPad or their parents' phone or iPad. And to me, one of the biggest issues I have is a child is not engaging in who they're coming to meet, because I'm right there, but they don't see me until I actually say, no, you can't use the phone at this time. We're talking. Good afternoon. So it kind of helps me to understand the high risk nature of this Momo challenge. Because while it hasn't hit home as yet, we're in the BVI, yes, nothing has happened, but it puts us in a very dangerous zone, because now we have our kids, we're babysitting them with these phones.
Yeah, that's true.
We're letting the phones teach them, and I don't think that the parents are able to watch everything.
We can't. It's impossible.
It's really, really dangerous. I feel like it's something that I don't know how we're going to be able to stop this.
Take it away.
Take it away.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Laurel is
Period.
from the
Take it away.
social
Take it away.
development. Laurel is from the social development and family services. Did I say the department name correctly?
No, Social Development Department, but I'm the team leader for Family, Children, and Protective Services.
Yeah, so
Yes.
give us your take on this challenge and how you think we can better either equip parents or children, or what we should do.
I don't have young children. My children are grown. It doesn't look that way.
I was
but-
just about to say,
yeah.
girl, you had no grown kids. She had no grown kids.
But I have young nieces, and I was able to see the challenge through Peppa Pig. They were watching Peppa Pig, and then it came on, and it, just like as you described, it was saying that they should whether cut themselves or giving precise instructions as to
Yes.
what to do. And I brought it to my sister's attention because I think it's dangerous when parents don't monitor what your children are watching. The internet is very dangerous.
It is.
It's very dangerous. And I saw a couple years ago where they advised that children should not spend more than 2 hours on any
Yes,
type
yes,
of
that is
device.
actually recommended. Yeah.
Right. But you know, parents sometimes we're tired. We have other things doing, so we just allow the children to go and entertain themselves on these devices, whether it's a tablet, a phone. But they're watching all sort of stuff, and they are so technologically advanced.
Oh yeah, they
that
are very
You would think that
tech-savvy.
they're watching Peppa Pig, but they could be watching
Michael
pornographic
Jackson
stuff. Exactly. Exactly. They could be watching porn as well, and you're not, you know, because you're not monitoring what they're doing. So I would advise any parent who's watching this show to monitor what your child is watching or watch it with them.
But let's be honest, it is difficult, Laurel, because you're gonna you know that you're getting ready to go somewhere. You put the kid in the back of the car, sit down, here's the device, we're driving to town from East End.
But they can read a book. There are books still that are available.
It's karaoke in the car.
You know what's really sad? The fact that a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old can handle a Samsung phone and knows how to manipulate and use an iPhone, and they can't read.
No,
So we
they
are
can
losing
read.
it somewhere.
But they read differently. I don't think
Give
they
'em a
read
book.
the words per se, but I think because they can put 2 and 2 together, they can put a symbol or what appears to be a word to us, they associate it with whatever they're looking for. Because my daughter and her father and I had the conversation about the same Finding Michael Jackson Thriller. Their whole playlist is Peppa, SpongeBob, all these cartoons, and then out of nowhere you're hearing her and her friends or her siblings talk about we'll do this dance move from Michael Jackson Thriller, or look, and then all you hear is no. But how you find Thriller? Did you type in Michael Jackson? Did you type in Thriller? Like, how did you find it? And I was trying to say that based off of whatever they looked at, that they found it, they're going back on that pattern, because you know that's how YouTube is.
works.
My thing is, my daughter's 3. So when I saw this thing, I'm like, oh God, my heart. I got scared immediately. I had no idea what to do because she loves the Kindle. She loves YouTube. And she can maneuver that thing. No, don't want to watch this. No, don't want to watch that. I want to watch this instead. And she's always asking me to watch it with her too, you know. Put away your phone, Mama. Watch it with me. And I always watch it for like 5 minutes, and then I say, all right, enough. But no, I actually feel bad. I say, let Mama watch it with you. Let's see what's going on there. So this Momo, whoever, I saw the face and I said, I'm going to ask her. So I said, Izzy, you know this? From the quiet nod. I was like, don't cry. You're such a sucker. I was like, okay. Did it tell you to do anything? And she's like hesitant almost. But I was just like, okay. We're going to give the Kindle a break today, and we're going to watch Netflix on the big TV. And then later on, she come back and say, Mama, you were watching The Funny Face again? The Funny Face. That's what she's referring to.
And this
it
is
as.
the
want to
thing,
ask-
kids.
okay.
Go ahead, Bertha.
I want to ask Ms. Freeman, what drove you to go and research the Momo challenge? Was it curiosity? You wanted to know?
Well,
because
I heard about it.
when I look at the Momo character, it's very ugly. I cannot find another word to describe it. It's very ugly. So as a child, I think I would be turned off by looking at this character, much less to follow comments.
It looks like the characters from a lot of the video games, the cartoons. It looks like a villain from a lot of the superhero movies. So kids will be kids will be attracted.
Some will be
You're
afraid of it, and some will be
outwitted.
like, well, you know, let me just get through it. But you see, like persons were trying to say, well, where it derives from is like a WhatsApp challenge or whatever the case is. But when you watch it, it's like almost like an infomercial. It goes, this win boy drama. It's like a little infomercial in the regular programming. So your child isn't looking for Momo or Mumu or whatever it is. They're watching Peppa, they're watching Barbie Playhouse, and all of a sudden it's like this head pop out of nowhere. Hey kids, you know, get something sharp. This is what you do. Don't tell mom and dad, because something will happen to them. So depending on your child and how impressionable they are, like this wind, then it would preempt them to do something, or hopefully they will tell you. Like I had another Isabella's cousin, and she told her mother, she's like, this thing's stupid, mommy. she told her mother, she was like, this don't make sense.
Good for her.
Right, but all kids are not like that.
Yeah.
So you've seen the
Yeah.
reports of children who actually are inquisitive, or they're looking like, well, maybe they, like kids, they don't have a direct relation with fear and hurt. They're going off of your reactions half of the time, right?
Yeah.
I find that too, because Isabella's not afraid of lizards or spiders, but she sees us running from them. No, she has a fear all the time. She watching the spider there, like, okay. So if we now react to it, then they will react too. So if someone is telling them to cut and they have no real correlation of cutting would equate to them bleeding out and dying, or there's real pain there unless they actually do it, because you know the saying, who don't hear us feel. If they do it, then they're like, oh, well, maybe this is a bad idea after all, and then they're in trouble. It is too late.
So let's get Miss Laurel to give her point of view professionally on
like what can
Well,
we do?
it can go back to the relationship that you have with your child, because you would know your child, and if something like that pops up, they would bring it to your attention, right? Or they should bring it to your attention. But there are a lot of latchkey children. These are children who have access to the house in the afternoons because the parents are at home working.
Yeah.
So they have free reign to watch TV, to go on their devices and do what they have to do. So it's important that you have a relationship with your child, have that connection. So if something is wrong, just as if they're being abused, that they can come and say to you, mommy or daddy, X, Y, and Z is, happening to me, uncle or auntie is doing this or doing that, right? So I just think it goes to a broader picture that we as a society, go back to when after Irma, we were playing cards because
Yes,
we
that's
didn't have
true.
electricity.
That's so true.
We were reading books, we were doing all those things. So perhaps we should go back to that.
Yeah, and that takes me straight into, the reason why we have you on the show today. So let's talk about what you do at Social Development.
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit about the month, because this is a very special month for, next month, I believe, is a very special month for social development and
Yes.
child abuse.
Yes.
And I noticed that you're wearing the
The
child
colors.
abuse colors,
Yes, I am.
which is blue.
Yes, I am.
So let's talk a little bit about your role and where we want to, the advice that we want to give to the public, to parents, as it relates to not just these dangerous things that will harm them, but then some of these challenges can be of a sexual nature.
Correct. Okay. Well, as you said before, my name is Laurel Freeman. I am the team leader. I don't like the word supervisor because all of us are a team. We work together. I am the team leader for Family and Children Services at the Social Development Department. I work in a team of 7 persons, and we investigate child abuse. We deal with custody, visitation, all those issues that have to do with family and children. That's
And
what
you don't
we
have
do.
no gray hair. God bless you, child. Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I will tell you. I covered them this morning. But the gray hairs are fine because I love my job. I love that I can impact somebody's life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And as you rightfully said, April is Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. So every year we bring awareness to the community. I'm not sure if you guys recall, last year we had an awesome display on the highway.
Yes.
With the pinwheel.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Beautiful.
I don't like that y'all threw away the teddy bear, but anyways, we'll get back to that.
Okay, I'll tell you why. The teddy bear, that was birthed out of the Break the Silence campaign, which focused on sexual abuse. However, we received feedback from UNICEF, who indicated that the community basically said they were very much aware of what constitutes sexual abuse, but we were not bringing to light the other types of abuse like neglect, physical abuse, verbal and emotional. So they wanted us to kind of stray away from so much emphasis on sexual and bring more emphasis on the other types of abuse, particularly neglect, because we were seeing a lot of high numbers in neglect cases at the department.
So what is neglect abuse constituted of? What do you consider neglect based on what you guys are looking for, the law? I leave my kid in the car so I can run in the supermarket. Is that neglect?
Well,
The AC is on, they got an iPad. I mean,
well, I would be mindful.
I think it's proper parenting.
Right. Right. But I would be mindful of that because remember we had a tragic incident sometime last year.
That's true.
So leaving children in the car, whether it's for
is a no-no.
exactly for no reason, take them with you.
Okay.
Right. The other types of neglect that we are seeing that children are going to school without breakfast. Some without.
Oh, that's considered neglect?
yes, ma'am.
Listen, my child don't like to eat all the time. I'm checking to see if I'm legally compliant. Wait. Okay, let's go. So continue.
Just give an eye. Open your eye wide and then go.
Let's give it because not all kids like to eat a full breakfast, but let's
That's true.
So let's go ahead
But
to
breakfast
the next.
is your brain
Wait.
food, and I'm sure the doc would agree with me that breakfast is your brain
Yeah,
food.
it is. We all agree.
Yes.
No, we all agree.
Yes,
Yeah.
of the day. Right. So if they don't like what you're preparing, perhaps give them a choice of two things so that you can ensure that they eat something.
Okay.
Right?
Just remember,
I like
during my
that.
days, I didn't have a choice.
Exactly.
I
ate what you
what you were given.
Eat or you go school hungry because I ain't making nothing else. You're gonna eat this today.
Exactly. Am I being a bad parent?
No, you're not. But there are some parents who rightfully cannot afford. And there's some parents who, because of work, they go to work probably for 7 o'clock. So they don't have, the children don't have that supervision prior to getting ready to go to school. Then there are some children who are not groomed properly. They go to school with the same clothes for maybe 3 or 4 days. Their hair is not groomed properly either. They don't have the necessary tools that they need, the books, the pencils, none of that. Right? So those are considered neglect, and we see a lot of those cases. Earlier last year, in 2018, we received a lot of reports of children ingesting substances.
Oh, wow.
And that can be considered a form of neglect as well because there's no supervision.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So supervision is an important part of neglect as well.
Oh, perfect. Well,
I have
that's
a
it's good to know.
I have a question. For example, you do home visitations here?
Yes, we do.
Because I had an incident some years ago when my big daughter was going to the Elmo South High School. And I get a call, and I went. The teacher tells me that she was feeling faint because she didn't eat. And I gave the child food to eat and snack and listen, I could have beat that child. So I had to use a strategy. I had to smooth it up, but when I went home, I dealt with her. So I feel that there are some cases that need to be investigated because I am always for the parent, being a parent. So we need to,
Well, like I said, we investigate. If we receive a call from a school, we don't just automatically dismiss what might be happening in the household. We have a conversation with mom, with dad, with the school, with the teacher to see if this is an ongoing something. It could have been a one-off situation. But if it's an ongoing, then of course we would have to intervene and put some support measures in place.
So are we allowed to ask you? So we talk about the fact that there's a lot of cases where there's just not the means to meet an end and it constitutes as neglect. Yes. Does the department provide support?
Yes, we do. We do. We do
Okay.
through the Public Assistance Committee.
Okay.
An application can be made, and it's put before a board, and persons can apply for rental assistance, utility assistance, food and household grant assistance. So it depends, and we have been partners with some awesome persons in the past, and they would provide grocery vouchers for us.
Oh, that's good. So you guys accept grocery vouchers?
Yes, we do.
So
We
if you're
do.
watching out there, you're one of our viewers, we would like you to support the cause. You can donate groceries. Do you guys accept groceries or the vouchers?
Prefer the voucher.
So if you can provide vouchers for Right Way, any of the major supermarkets,
Correct.
I'm sure you'll
Yes,
accept that.
of course.
And that would really help.
Exactly.
To the public assistance program is what you
Yes,
said it's called.
yes,
I think that's awesome.
yes.
That's a really good initiative.
And these vouchers and the assistance, is it linked to the Rainbow Children Home as well? So
No,
terms
not
of these,
necessarily.
that's a whole
Yeah,
different
that's a whole
arena?
separate. The Rainbow Children's Home is a place of safety for children who
Gotcha.
have been abused
Okay.
and cannot return, whether to their birth family or they don't have other relatives that can house them for a short period of time. So it's separate.
So we talked about neglect, we talked about sexual abuse.
Yes.
Now let me ask this question. Is emotional abuse
Oh, Lord.
something that the department also looks at when it
Yes.
comes to kids, or
Yes.
is that okay?
Yes, we do.
So talk a little bit
Because
about that.
we find
First, define it, because I think we all
Emotional abuse?
We're all shady about emotional and mental.
okay, emotional abuse is when you put down your child. For example, if you and as a woman and me and the father of the child are not together anymore, you know, at times we project
First
or
define
pain
it,
or
because I
hate
think
onto
we
this
all
child.
We're all
Correct. That's exactly what they say. You know, you're just like your father, you're dumb, you're stupid, you can't get anything right. That is emotional abuse. Because as an adult, that would make me feel terrible. Imagine a 6 or 7-year-old child. So if that is continuous, if you are pouring that into a child on a continuous basis, imagine what they're going to grow up to be as an adult.
So you guys look into emotional abuse
Yes,
cases
ma'am.
as well.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. And we tend to steer the parents into counseling.
Okay.
Or even parenting classes to better communicate with the child or communicate with the other parent. Because 9 out of 10 times you find it's an issue with the other parent and not necessarily the child.
We know that you guys have a month of activities coming up. Can you
Yes.
talk to us a little bit about what April holds for us?
In 2018, we showed a movie at Captain Mulligan's, Matilda, and everybody was like, Matilda, that's so old. However, we received awesome support from the community, and I just want to say thanks to everybody that came. And I'm sure you did see elements of abuse with Matilda.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes, right.
I need to watch it again. I've watched it before.
Okay. But we're planning to host another movie. We're planning to also decorate the town again. We're also planning to do a display again in town with the
Oh,
pinwheels.
good. Good.
We're going to go out to the schools again because we love interacting with the children. So we're going to go to the schools to bring awareness in reference to child abuse and awareness month. We're also planning our famous puppet shows. I don't know if you guys have
I have
seen.
been. Yeah, I have been to.
Yes, the children love the puppet show, so we're doing that again. And we're just planning to be out in the community a bit more this year to bring
Good.
more awareness to persons about child abuse.
So my mom is a federal social worker, and she deals with, especially kids in sexual instances where they're being removed from the home because they were sexually abused,
Right.
or kids who have been neglected, and places them in different areas. And I look at the American system because that's what I know with my mom doing this, and I look at the BVI system, and I'm wondering, do you guys do a lot of parenting classes outside of people who are who need it, or who it's been applied to, or who it's been asked to? You know, do you have any of those sessions that are coming up in different areas throughout the BVI?
And I'm glad you asked that question, sorry, because we're starting a parenting series of 4 weeks.
Oh, perfect.
I think next weekend, on the
Oh.
9th of March, is it? Yes, a 4-week parenting session.
So
and
the-
anybody is welcome to attend.
That's perfect. Yeah, because I
Anybody's
think that's
welcome
really
to attend.
important. One of the things that we do a lot is we have learned from our parents how to be parents, but the times have changed.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So
Yes,
there is really a new level of parenting that we need to implement,
Yes.
because our parents are going to say, oh, your child always on the device, that way them don't know how to do that. But this is the way the world is going, and
Yes.
we now need to adapt that into parenting skills.
agreed.
We now need to adapt that into the way that we're moving now, so that we have a different level of parenting.
Correct.
So that's great that you guys are putting on these
Yes.
sessions, not just for.
And I
Yeah.
think one of our sessions focused on parents teaching them how to use the technology.
Oh, awesome.
Because, you know, all parents are not up to speed like the
Yeah.
children,
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome. That's actually really good. That's really good.
Turn this thing on.
That is really good.
So we're trying to keep the parents in the loop, so they would know, what's going on.
That is perfect. Well, thank you so much, Miss Laura, for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we're going to take a commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on another note.
We are going to be talking about how you like your man.
Like I could do it like I'm ordering a cheeseburger. Like,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
yes, I know. I feel like I'm jumping on the same old bandwagon with hair loss. In the Caribbean population, at least, you must know a friend or a family who suffer with fibroids.
Shavanda Naturals, handmade natural products made in the British Virgin Islands. Our products are sourced from natural and sometimes organic ingredients. Shavanda Naturals is the perfect gift for your loved one this season. Try our hair and body butters, natural handmade bar soaps, lip balms, shampoos, conditioners, oils, pomades, and scrubs. Also available for wholesale to hotels, bed and breakfast, as well as retail markets. Call us at 443-5404 or send us an email at shavanda@gmail.com.
And we're back on another note. We've been having a good time so far. We just had the social development department here giving us some information. That was great. Shout outs to you, Miss Freeman, and your whole team.
Yeah.
I liked her little, I don't like supervisor. We're all a team, and this is a team leader.
Team leader. I
So
like
today, because April is out, I get to be the team leader.
Absolutely.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're enjoying this too much.
I'm sorry.
You're enjoying
We
this
miss
too
you,
much.
April.
Yeah, we do.
We do. We really miss you.
And that's serious.
So we're going to get right into our next section, which is our local appeal. Let me hear what you have to say, Adri.
Yeah, we're just gonna take this wind and blow it all over our local spotlight innovators, creators. Unfortunately, today is not a Virgin Guardian.
She is so
But because we're one BVI.
one BBI.
We
BVI.
did have a shriek there, didn't we?
And I kind of took this horn. At least I've had the privilege to really get to know this one innovator on a one-on-one basis. I've actually seen, I've been privileged to see some of the process. It's Shavanda. Anyone ever
Yes,
heard of
of course.
Shavanda?
That's my girl. That's my girl.
Yes, well,
Yay.
yes.
yes.
So Shavanda is a family-owned care product or product care line. Am I saying that right? Sorry.
Yes.
It's Cherise Vanterpool and her husband and her children, her family. So the background story of how Shavanda came about is that Cherise and her husband, they were trying to have a baby, and that whole process was a little bit of a challenge. And so she did a lot of researching and going to the doctors and figuring out what was the best way to basically care for herself in order so that she can have the family that she wanted. And on that journey, finding out a better diet, better choices with exercise or products, care products, health, hair care products, skin care products, all of that was the beginning of her really diving into, what was best for her and what worked, and it did. And so she had her first baby. She now has 3 children.
Oh, nice.
Look at God.
Yes, and she did go through went through a challenge. So congratulations to her, and
Yes,
proving against whatever odds that were predicted, but successful. She has her children, her babies, and with her first daughter, she wanted to bring her up without using any chemicals.
Oh, that's
so
good.
she did more research and finding all the skincare products, hair care products, and just making sure that everything was natural. So she was using natural products, but then she also researched in making her own products.
Oh, nice.
So that's how, the hair care products came about. And Isabella's a product of that too, because we use the hair butter. So it was literally, she works for the Department of Information and Public Relations. My department voice kick in. So GIS, if you don't know that we're like a family.
We are.
we're a family, and when one have a bag of Doritos or a bag of chips, You know, that we're like, who opened a bag of chips? Where the snacks is? Everybody coming and say, give me one. So with her and her product, it was like, you know, if you see her daughter's hair is beautiful. I mean, like a little Rapunzel almost.
Yes, she
And so
is.
if you watch her and it's like this big hair, almost, I was like, how do you manage this hair? She's like, I don't even know. So she, you know, but just us co-workers seeing, right, us co-workers seeing her daughter's hair, asked her, well, what is she using? And it, you know, the sampling started from then. And then she just, you know, grew and invested in it and got her product line up, and it's called Shavanda, and
That's
she has
really good. I like the story.
a lot to offer.
Yes, definitely.
So where can we find her products? Is she, or are they available in stores?
I think she's
or
looking
you
towards
special order?
having them available online, but she also has a Facebook page and Instagram page, Shavanda, and the contact information can be found there, and she'll also deliver to you.
That's awesome. Shout outs to you. It's so good to see how many local entrepreneurs we have that have a lot of products that are made in BVI. Definitely. That have a lot of products that we can use. So it's not just something that, you know, they send out or that they bring in. It's something innovative.
Yeah, she makes it at home.
It's
She
awesome.
talks about, you know, whipping up, getting the coconut
A new
and
fresh
essential
batch and
oils,
all of that.
and you know, it's like a local Bath and Body Works almost. Definitely.
I've used a soap. She has some kinds of soap. I've used some soaps already. I got it in a kit, in a like a basket. So I've used I think it's a soap.
Yeah.
And then I've used a hair butter. I got like a hair butter that I use in my daughter's hair. So I think that's awesome. Shout outs to you, Shavanda.
Yeah.
Shout out. Shout outs to Shavanda. So make sure you go out if you haven't heard about it. Look it up. SHEVANDER. Check them out. All right. And we're getting ready for our Where's the fire? Wait.
I'm smoke. I'm waiting. You do the fire and I'm gonna do the smoke.
I'm sorry, we need matches on the set. We're getting ready to go to our hot
sound
topics.
effect.
This girl got me blushing, understand me?
Because we get into the juicy part.
This is a good part.
We gotta behave though, because we don't talk about how kind of serious stuff.
We're going to be talking about how you like your man. Everybody has a list. When you're dating mostly, what are you looking for?
You like
other-
it, man?
Yeah,
Like I could do it like I'm ordering a cheeseburger. Like I
have a number two.
double cheese.
dating preferences.
Okay. That's all.
Yeah, so
okay,
I
I'm
want to have a
serious.
number 2 with chocolate and bow legs on the side. Well, as the main, sorry.
Wow.
I'll take athletic and musically inclined on the side.
Okay.
I would definitely on the main dish, I'm gonna like to have my loves Jesus in there. But I'll have a number 2.
Okay.
Got a lot on that
Just
list,
the other
girl.
day, I had a conversation with my big daughter.
Oh, you have to be taller than me.
I see a young man talking to my daughter, and I was telling her, you know, you interested in him? But me, no. But anyway, I went on to tell her, you know, what to look for. Well, I gave her my list. I don't know if she's going to.
say, what
I don't know
did
if
you
she's
tell
going to
her?
pay attention to me. Well, I told her I like men. First of all, you have to be God-fearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Check.
number 2 on that list, you have to love your mother. Because if you don't love your mother, you're not going to love me. You have to, the way you treat your,
I don't know. I
the
disagree.
way you treat
but
your
okay.
mother. A wise man once told me, the way you treat your mother, he's going to treat you.
What if
Okay,
he doesn't
okay.
grow up
He lied
with a
to
mom,
you.
or doesn't
That wise
their
man lied to
relationship
you.
The
Then-
aunt, the aunt will come and replace the
And
mom.
then the son husbands know. So wait,
another topic.
wait. Love your mama, but don't be your mama's husband.
I'm saying.
Okay, so
Got
that
it.
so yeah,
No,
that's
I
that
know
one
men
there
who
is
love their
very
mothers
touchy.
and they hate
Let me
women.
tell
It's like the
you.
Steve Harvey book. Okay, so continue the list.
No,
Fine.
and third on my list, you have to be ambitious.
Ambitious.
I like
Okay,
ambition.
I like that.
You don't
like
have to
ambitious,
be
you could
wealthy
be ambitiously
because
broke.
I wouldn't want to meet a man that is wealthy. I'm weird, sorry. We're going to build our empire together. You know why? Because
Say what now?
no,
She don't want to meet a wealthy man.
let me explain the method to the madness. I had a friend.
What you say?
I think we're going off topic, you know. But anyway, I had a friend who had a wealthy husband. And he used to always remind her, listen, all you have in here is your clothes. So I kind of, yeah, he used to
Well,
always remind
That's no
her.
reason to.
I want to be able to slam the door and
Probably-
shout have the same kind of,
Equality.
equality
That's
is
what
the
you
word.
want. I
That's what I
understand.
want. So we're going to build our empire together.
But he could be rich.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But what if he broke and you rich? So you just want an ambitious man? You want an ambitious child man?
Ambition is important.
Ambitious.
Ambition is
Okay, start with your list. Let's hear your 1, 2.
For real.
Well, no, go to 5. Your list is very short.
Yeah.
But then everything, to me, once you have
Then
that,
everything else is okay. Go
Yes,
ahead. Go
we'll
ahead,
fall
Dr.
into
Shack.
place.
Let's
We-
hear your
we can-
list.
I
Let's
don't
hear
have
your
a
list.
long list. My list is already set. But I mean, in terms of being able for a man to treat you like a queen, that's mandatory for me. Like, I am very high maintenance, and if you feel like you need to be highly maintained and I need to be highly maintained, we gonna have problems. So I need you to understand that I am the queen, and I will make sure you feel like a king. But if I have to,
Hail to the queen.
that's for me, that's my only and most important thing. I need to feel cherished. I need to feel valued. I need you to show me that you understand you have something of great value that you're dating. So I don't have really the whole phenotype, what he looks like, what he has, and I really like ambition. It all the other stuff it don't really matter to me.
Yeah, I think my list is quite
Girl, you just need to
extensive.
go ahead.
You already put it.
My list is very extensive,
Pickle
but
lettuce, onion, tomato, no mayo, whole, the mustard, wheat, bread, toasted on one side. Jesus. Angel, who eats this sandwich? Who is eating her sandwich?
yeah,
Because
I think my list is a special order list, because really, if I had to break it down to just the bare minimum of what I would love in
salt and pepper, vinegar, no oil. Who puts that on this sandwich?
I definitely a religious background is important to me. I'm not hung up about if you're Christian or not Christian, but I'm not.
Really?
But what I am not hung up in it. But what is important to me is that you do believe in God. So that is important to me. It's God's job, and it's the job of the rest of the community to lead you in the right direction. But you don't have to do.
I'm gonna tell you a joke about that.
But I don't. But I'm not hung up on if we meet, if we're not. When I met my husband, he was not a Christian at all. I grew up in a Christian household. I knew I wanted to be with a Christian person. I'm not hung up on that. He's Christian now, but that was his own journey there, and I'm not hung up on that. But what I am, I wouldn't necessarily say ambition is the same thing for me. Goals. I just need to know you have goals. Whether you have all the ambition you need to get there, that's okay. Whether you have the drive you need to get there, that's okay. We can work on that together. But if you have the goals, if you know where you want to be, then I can help you get to that level.
Yeah.
We can work on that together. So definitely those two for me are number one. And you gotta be chocolate and bold. Like, let me tell you, I can't mess around with
salt, vinegar, no oil, toasted on one
athletic.
side.
You must be
Sprinkle of
athletic.
Jesus.
I'm a sports girl.
Okay.
You have to be you have to even like to watch it on TV. You have to be able to play some type of sport. I ran track, I did volleyball, I did softball. I play rugby.
Do you do that now?
I don't do it now. I play rugby now. I play rugby now.
You're not in high school. Why you want it as a requirement?
Having that background is important to me because I love sports and I love sporting events and those.
And you want him to lift you
go,
up as well?
And I want you to be able to enjoy it.
Sports to lift you up. You ain't got to.
Wait, where did that come from?
You ain't got to be working for NASCAR to drive, boo.
I'm just saying.
Okay, well, I think we went left field. That was my list. I did not say anything about being lifted up. I don't know where that came from. Adri, let me get your list.
I ain't got no list. I agree with Dr. Shack, and once he values me, then that's all that matters. I just don't want them broke. I just don't want them demonized. I don't want them dependent on me for anything except loving. Okay?
But wait, so
because remember, my money is my money. Your money is our money.
Listen, I can't do with Adriana. I can't do
Broad
with
shoulders, slim waist, but I take them a little thicker. That's fine. Once I can bring you home to my mother, and she won't send you out, we're good.
I actually like a man who can eat. I'm not gonna lie.
And not allergic to nothing because we eat everything at my house. Don't tell me you love to see food or
I love to see
pork
men eat.
or them kind of thing. What's wrong with you? Get out. I can't be cooking 3 meals for 3 different people. Get out. My mother already has a problem with beef. I cannot not cook pork because you don't eat pork. Get out.
But we giving this broad list. Come on, Bertha.
I was going to say, suppose some of the top requirements are not there. Would you, would you go ahead and accept that man without the top priorities on your list?
He got to value me. Well, what's the point? Why be with me if you ain't like me?
That's mandatory. Like that.
That's number one. Value Adriana.
Listen,
Okay.
I'm not gonna pretend. Y'all like to pretend. I like Dr. Shack. She don't pretend. Okay? I'm not gonna pretend. If we missing item 3 on my list, if we missing item 2 and 1 on my list, it's gonna be rough, because what I don't want to happen is that item 3 pass across when I'm with you and I'm looking at his bow legs, and it's not gonna work out for your girl. It's not gonna work out for your girl. So I think you're gonna have to have everything on my list if we're gonna stay together, because it's gonna be rough. And the bow leg. I love to look at a man's legs. Oh my goodness gracious.
But see, I don't want to be too hard on the guys
slightly
because
both.
I don't know if what I like me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I definitely don't fit anybody else's mold. This is only one cookie cutter for Adriana. So if you find me and I value you and I make sure that I do whatever it is that, like Dr. Shack, to value you, I want to value the man and make him also feel like a king, because he deserves to feel like a king, because I deserve to feel like a queen. And once we value each other and give each other what we can do for at least 80% of the whole equation, then we could make it work. But I mean, I just don't want nobody who I got to pray for and put some oil on. Like, I don't want no heathens in my house, because that almost happened to me when I found somebody and they fit a lot of the prerequisites. They were like, yeah. And then they were like, I have problems with spiritual battling with myself or some nonsense. And I was just like,
We need holy oil.
okay.
You could have called me.
But I didn't know how bad it was until they start talking about some other dark things. And I was just like, no, you got to go. No, I can't do that. I said, I'm not the exorcism. I'm not the exorcist. I'm not doing it.
So was it that bad?
Terrible.
I think it was bad enough that you just needed to go. You go see somebody else who could deal with that type of problem.
One of the most important things when we do, I mean, we have all these things we're playing with, these lists and so on. But the most important thing is choosing somebody that's compatible with you. So you have your list, and realistic or not, the truth is, find somebody that's compatible with you, because what you don't want to do is get into a relationship with somebody who you feel you have to change, because then you are changing that person into someone else, and then that breeds resentment. So I think a lot of relationships start off of he possibly could, or he could become. It's a challenge, so you're taking a risk there, but not everything you feel he can grow into, he is willing to grow into. So to me, that's a dangerous risk. So just find somebody that's compatible with you.
The possibilities is part of the problem, because a lot of times we see these people, we think that these are the people who fit our list. They don't, and then we start molding them and going, you know what? We can make that work. This is not a car.
Falling apart while you're making it work.
You can find somebody else who's a heathen with him. He don't have to find me who's blessed and highly favored.
Amen, sister.
You can find somebody else. Not for me, because 2 heathens could just make an angel. Or
On that note, we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
At Horizon Catering, we deliver the highest quality food, innovative presentations, and professional services. We know how important catering is to your event, so we cut no corners to ensure a satisfying and memorable event. We can turn your next event from the ordinary to the extraordinary. For the highest quality food, innovative presentations, and professional services, call Horizon Catering at 284-499-2132 or 499-2142.
welcome back to On Another Note. Listen, you guys are on fire all the time, okay? I feel like the topics are just getting more and more intense, but we are more and more honest. So we give it to you straight. But anyway, I'm bringing today's health note. So yes, I know I feel like I'm jumping on the same old bandwagon with hair loss. But I went to a conference earlier this year. I think it was the end of January. And what was interesting, they are now finding an association with one of the type of hair losses that we spoke about, which is the central cicatricial centrifugal alopecia. Don't get nervous. The one that we call CCCA, the one where you get the balding in the center of the scalp, that actually spreads out in women, and it's scarring, is one of the scarring types. But they've now found, well, I would say they've now associated it with fibroids. What? It's weird. And the link is not really known at this time, but they've just done a few case studies, and they've realized that a majority of the women who have CCCA also suffer from fibroids. So we're not sure if it's a causative factor or it's a consequence of having fibroids, but it brings me to the point of us talking about fibroids a little bit. I know that, I mean, in the Caribbean population at least, you must know a friend or a family who suffer with fibroids.
I
So
do, but I don't know what it is. I mean,
You
I know what it is,
Okay.
but I don't know what caused.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. This is good to know. So do you guys know that there's a difference between skeletal muscle, the muscle that we use to perform functions, lift up things, we build in the gym, and then there's a difference to smooth muscle. So smooth muscle are those the areas like inside your gut. You have to have, we call it peristaltic action. That means your gut is actually constantly moving with this nice smooth muscle. Your vagina is smooth muscle. Your uterus, smooth and skeletal, but also your uterus is smooth muscle as well. When you're having a baby, well, you guys, I mean, my kid was a surrogate, but I mean, in terms of you guys had contractions, right? So that's muscle that's happening there in your uterus. So the source of the fibroids are actually over an abnormal growth of some of those smooth muscle fibers. So fibroids are balls of smooth muscle. So what happens is they usually start out, I say, around the age of 30, between 30 and 30 and 40. You have these very small little pearl-like items inside, or benign things inside of your uterus, but they don't really bother you much. You usually have a regular period most times. But if you have a fibroid that affects the lining of your uterus, right? Because it can either be inside your uterus, inside the muscle of your uterus, or on the outside.
Okay.
When it's on the inside, people have a lot of heavy bleeding. So this is one of the symptoms. You don't see anything wrong with you by looking at you, but you have heavy periods. Your periods are just out of control. That's also one of those signs you want to look out for, right? But one of the most important things with fibroids is it is one of those times when you notice the girth of your abdomen increasing. I know, like, sometimes we gain weight, yes, but if you know that you're not eating at the rate at which your belly is growing and you are not pregnant, right? That's one thing.
Okay.
The second thing, when you have increasing in your abdominal size, is if you notice you didn't have a hernia all the time, but now your navel is poking out and you're not pregnant, right? Right. So the next thing is, if you notice all of a sudden your legs are swelling. So these are more like pressure symptoms on the inside. You're growing a mass on the inside, and when that mass compresses the blood vessels that supply your legs, you can actually get leg swelling. Oh, wow. So that's another thing. People actually get urinary incontinence, like when you pee when you laugh, you know, or something like that. All of the symptoms of being pregnant, but you know you're not pregnant. So actually, a lot of women actually figure out that they have fibroids by these issues. One of the most common way persons present with fibroids is that my belly is just growing. It's just growing in size. And one of the things that we have to recognize is that this is something that's important for us to, one, highlight, because it's a cause of infertility as well. In the young woman who doesn't have kids, you're in your 30s, and all of a sudden you have increased abdominal girth, it lowers your chances of fertility. So why do people get fibroids? Up to now, they can't really say specifically which gene or if it's a particular substance. I've heard so many stories about the foods that we eat. People say it's the hormone in the chicken, but it really is an imbalance in the two hormones that we have, which is estrogen and progesterone. And the most common story on how we get these is a more increase in your estrogen levels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is so because we know that menopausal women who have fibroids, when they get fibroids and then they go through menopause, the fibroids naturally shrink.
Right.
And that's in a natural correlation to your estrogen levels. And we know women who are not menopausal, but they've been doing some more estrogen-like things, like if you eat a lot of soybeans. You know why I say soybeans? Soybean is a natural source of estrogen. It's called a phytoestrogen.
Okay.
So people who have, you're trying to do the right thing with your diet, and then you eat a lot of soybeans and you realize, oh my gosh, these things are growing. Also, different forms of birth control can help them to grow. So I know, right? So these are some of the things that can cause these fibroids to grow. So outside of that,
But fibroids seem to be something that, sorry to cut you off, it seems to be something that's very common now.
yeah.
I don't know if I heard about fibroids as much 5-10 years ago.
Really?
All of a sudden now it's I feel like every 4 people have fibroids.
Let me tell
Maybe
you,
people are just more vocal about it
people
now.
are just more vocal
But I've
about
always
it.
heard my aunties and older relatives talk about it, like the women, when the women have their women chat. That's a conversation that comes up, and I've always just been looking lost. I listen, but I'm lost as to what they're talking about. And all my aunties and older women in the family, they're older, they're past 40 or past 50, or even when I was younger, let's say that, and my mother was in her 30s. That was something that the women of the family spoke about, and I'm just like, what's that? Like, what's wrong with y'all?
Right. And I think back then too, because the main solution for fibroids was hysterectomy, removal of your uterus, people didn't really want to talk about it much because it makes you feel less of a woman. Because the first solution is take out the uterus.
Into a man.
But I'm saying exactly, and then I mean, especially if you don't have any kids before they give you this diagnosis and then tell you that, oh my God, you have to remove your uterus. I just want to also mention here that there are other options now. While medications are not really forthcoming with the treatments of uterine fibroids, there's an actual procedure called myomectomy, because one of those little tumors, the smooth muscle tumors, the fibroid, the real name is a myoma. And you can myomectomy.
So
you can remove just that.
Okay.
You need a highly skilled a highly skilled gynecologist to do a procedure like that, right? But I have to say also there's a newer procedure. It's more so on the mainland US, but it's called ultrasound guided artery embolization. So what they do during that procedure is they have a big old ultrasound machine. You're actually awake on the sedation when you do this procedure. I know, but they use a little needle that they put into the thigh, right? And your doctor goes ahead and tracks along the blood vessels, find the blood vessels that are actually feeding those fibroids and block it. So what happens is you constantly get shrinkage of those fibroids. And I actually think this is the way forward, because one of the things about surgery and doing the myomectomy is your risk of, one, losing the uterus during that procedure, and two, fibroids can return. So that's the thing. You take them out, and within a 2-year period, they say if you want to try pregnancy, you should go ahead and try, because you're going to be at risk of it coming back. So to have a second invasive procedure, to me, the better way out is to do the embolization. So I'm actually hoping that we could start having some gynecologists do this procedure here in the BVI, even because it's something that the Caribbean needs. Fibroids is like 1 in 10 almost of black women. It's really there. Yeah.
It really is.
And the fact that I'm seeing so many women with CCCA, and I just came back from the conference, it makes me kind of wonder, makes me think if there's a risk.
Fibroids and we're all like late 20s, early 30s.
Young.
Some of them don't even have kids yet. So I'm just like,
yeah, it is something to be concerned about. And, you know, talking about fibroids and a lot of the issues that we talk about, I think it's really important. If you're viewing, continue to follow us on OANTalk, on our Facebook, on Another Note, on our Instagram, on our YouTube channel, subscribe, because these are the issues that we're talking about, real issues that affect lives of women everywhere, especially the lives of women in the Caribbean, in the Virgin Islands, and we want to impact your life in a positive way. Before we take a commercial break, I just want to say thank you to some of our sponsors. We had a lovely meal this morning from Horizons Catering. So shout out to you. The breakfast was awesome. The sausage was the bomb. And we also want to say a special thank you to some of our clothing sponsors. Beautiful by Jasanay was able to sponsor some jewelry, beautiful jewelry, and the attire that Bertha is wearing. Thank you, and we'll be right back.
At Blossoms, our floral experts use their creative flair to design beautiful and exotic bouquets. We are the on-island wedding experts, and for boating enthusiasts, we can help you to add a touch of floral elegance, life, and color to your yacht, mega yacht, or super yacht. You can also find a wide variety of silk and dried flower designs, fresh cut flowers, local flowers, tropical blooms, fruit and gourmet baskets, chocolates, balloons, both helium and air-filled, various gift items, and an assortment of plush animals. With a floral experience spanning over 28 years, we have earned a reputation for excellence both locally and internationally. We've even worked with celebrities. At Blossoms, we continue to deliver smiles and watch our customers bloom.
We really hope you're enjoying these episodes. If you haven't, stop now. Well, wait until this episode is finished. Go back, catch up, because you missed a lot. Go back and watch all of our other episodes. Trust me, you're gonna want to do that. This was a great episode today. Another amazing episode. What do you guys think?
Of
It was good.
We worked hard.
We talked a lot. We talked about what type of guy you like. We talked about, child abuse and what's coming up, child prevention, from neglect to sexual to emotional. That was an amazing conversation.
And parents being very aware of what your children are watching.
Yeah, we talked about the suicidal challenge, that Momo challenge that's out. So definitely make sure that you watch the front of this episode to hear more about it if you're only now tuning in. And on top of that, we also talked about fibroids and how it's really affecting a lot of the women in our community.
Definitely.
But I want to tell you something else we talked about. And if you missed the last episode, you definitely have to watch it. On the last episode, we were at a very gorgeous location, and we came back this time because we really wanted you guys to see a different aspect of this home. So it was amazing to come back to the Eagle's Nest in Nottingham Estate in East End. The view, I wish you could see it. The view is of the airport. You can see the airport strip straight across. The breezes are just so lovely. I mean, we could stay out here for the rest of today, to be really honest. And you know what the awesome part about this property is? It's 3 different levels. So if you wanted to short-term, long-term, there are 3 different levels. There is a pool. Oh my goodness, the master suite.
Going in the pool?
We should. We should go in the pool after this. The master suite is amazing. It's spacious. All the rooms were properly thought out. And I'll be very honest with you. If you like that modern, slight Caribbean feel, this estate is the perfect place for you. All right, it was a great episode, ladies.
Of course. Yes. Pleasure.
So we thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. This is episode 8 of season 2. So you've got to catch up if you haven't. We're gonna see you on our next episode. So right now we say goodbye.
Bye.